Hi, artists of the world. It's Natalia from Yes Art Marketing, and this is where you find simple solution to building your dream creative life, selling art, and living off of your creativity. Today, I want to talk about a decision that seems tactical on the surface, but it's actually it could be emotional because it's very strategic and it could be confusing. Watching how other artists do this, you inevitably at some point start asking yourself whether you should be selling originals or prints or both. So let's talk about originals versus prints. This isn't just a pricing decision, it also affects your workflow, your energy, your stress levels, and the kind of audience you attract. I've seen artists just burn out doing too much at once. And I've seen artists limit themselves by choosing too small, choosing just one thing that they do. And I've also seen artists being stuck and unable to choose which one is the right option for them. And I've seen artists build beautiful, stable businesses by choosing intentionally and doing both. It is always an individual choice. It's not just something that you should or shouldn't be doing. I want you to make an informed choice, so let's break this down properly. Selling originals. That's the purest form of your work. It's the canvas that you touched. It's the brushstrokes that exist only once. Everything about it is unique. The texture, the scale, the physical presence. Original artwork is as precious as you can imagine, right? And for many artists, this feels the most aligned. And I personally, as a buyer, would always prefer an original to a print if I could afford it, yeah? But however, there are artists from whom I can only afford a print. And in that case, I would rather have a print than nothing, yeah? And this is something to consider. But what works beautifully about the originals is that you can charge more per piece because they're really unique, right? You don't need any production partner. You buy your art supplies and you create what you want, right? You don't have to deal with prints, the quality, reprints, inventory, paper types, packaging decisions, shipping decisions, launches, open editions, limited editions. You deal with none of that headache and things are easy that way, right? You paint, you put your paintings up for sale, you sell, you ship, done, right? And if you sell a painting for 300, 700, $1,200, that single sale can cover a lot for you, yeah, and it feels powerful. It also builds strong collector relationships. When someone buys an original, they're invested in you, yeah, they really have something special and personal from you, and it's a different way of having a relationship with the art and with the artist, yeah, if that makes sense. Now let's look at the less romantic side of this. Originals create income in waves. We know that, yeah, there is no stability. You might sell two in 1 week, then nothing for a month, and it's only predictable for some artists who have already made it to the point where they can sell whatever they create and it always sells out. For a lot of us, especially for those who are starting out, it's not like that, and it's not like that for a while. So if your entire income depends on new paintings, that means that no new painting, no new product, nothing to sell. Yeah. So let's say that if you feel tired, traveling, overwhelmed, just not inspired, or God forbid you're sick, yeah, income can slow down. Plus, we all know how hard it is to deal with social media where most of us promote art, yeah, and that really doesn't help with stability at all. And that doesn't mean that it's a bad model though. It just requires this emotional resilience and this pricing confidence and most likely other marketing solutions, for example, like art fairs, shows, open studio days, markets, other possible events where you could promote your original art and make more money, attracting more people to it. If you underpriced your originals because you're afraid to scare people away, this model becomes exhausting and unsustainable. You will need high volume of originals at a low price to survive, which kind of defeats the purpose. Original only businesses work best for artists who love being in a constant creation mode. They are comfortable with higher pricing. They are okay with income being less predictable, and sometimes it comes in waves and it's fine, yeah, because maybe they have other backups. They enjoy building collector relationships slowly, or they already build their demand and popularity and they can confidently predict their sales. As I said, it's not a bad plan. You can get there. It just takes time. And now let's talk about selling prints. Prints introduce scalability. You paint once, you can sell that image again and again. That changes the entire structure of your business. Instead of one, let's say, $800 sale, you might have 10 $80 sales or 100 $8 sales, and the total can be similar, yeah, but the psychology is different. This is different kind of selling and different kind of shopping for people. Prints lower the entry point into your business. You can cater to wider audiences. Those who can't afford your originals, for example, they might be able to afford your print. Someone who would never spend $1,000 on art might happily spend 60, 100, $120 on high quality print. This expands your audience significantly. This expands your market and marketing opportunities as well. Younger buyers, renters, people who go to handmade markets and fairs, students, people decorating their first apartments, your Instagram fans that have been watching you for a while and wanting to buy something from you within a comfortable price range. It allows your art to exist in many homes at once. That has marketing value, that has more visibility, more word of mouth, more earning potential for you. But prints are not passive income magic, okay? They require systems. Low cost products, they need to be marketed properly to actually be popular and for people to buy them. You need to decide a whole bunch of things before you even start, right? How you're going to digitize your art for printing. That's a whole lot of headache, I can tell you. Paper type, printer or print on demand solutions, margins, packaging, shipping workflow, how to position them without devaluing your originals. You can think it all through and I can help you with that. Just this needs to be thought through, right? And your profit margins are smaller, especially if you don't own your own printer and you have to collaborate with, let's say, a drop shipping print on demand company. And if you sell a print for $70 and your cost to that company, the cost that you pay to the company that prints and ships your print is, I don't know, 25, 30, $35, you need volume, you need to sell more. Yeah. And that means consistent marketing. Print businesses are less art businesses and more product businesses, more operational thinking, less purely artistic, more planning and strategic, nurturing the audience and doing the launches. Print focused models work well for artists who want broader reach, who prefer maybe smaller but more frequent sales, or are comfortable managing all of these systems. Yeah, maybe they like building a brand presence at a scale like that. Most people recommend doing both, and yeah, it could be powerful. I would agree with those people. Originals for collectors, prints for accessibility, two income streams. But this only works if it's well structured, because doing both means that you have two pricing letters, two buyer types. But this only works well if it's structured, because doing both means that you have two pricing letters, two buyer types, two marketing angles or more. Yeah, it's a lot of things to do. Yeah, you have a lot more back-end work, logistics, and so on, but it can work beautifully. If you're early in your journey and you're already overwhelmed with learning to make content to sell one painting, trying to master both at once can really dilute your focus. And I'm speaking from experience, as I'm currently rebuilding my own art business from the ashes and being torn between two projects, art and prints and all of that. It's really not for beginners. However, once you do have some clarity, the combination of these can be a super solution. It stabilizes your income. I know plenty of artists whose businesses include both and they're thriving. Combining originals and prints sales could look like this. For example, maybe you sell two originals per month at, let's say, 900, that's 1800 in total. And then you can also sell 15 prints per month at 80 a piece. Yeah, and that's 1200. And now you have in total, you can combine, yeah, and you make 3 grand. It feels less fragile. Yeah, you're not emotionally dependent on one big sale, but this only works if originals are positioned as premium and distinct. Prints don't cannibalize the original pricing, and your messaging is clear and your marketing is thought through. So without positioning and without a clear structure, both streams can compete with each other in many ways, including inside your head, which is hard. It's a lot of mental load. Again, it doesn't mean that you cannot do it or you should pick one or you should pick both. It's a lot to consider. So I'm giving you all this information so that you can consider it. You will know what to expect and it will stress you less as a result. Yes, which means when you're less stressed, you can do more. Also, one thing that I want you to consider is the lifestyle fit. This decision about what to sell, yeah, which way to sell, it's not just about strategy, it's also about alignment. Some artists need stability. They feel calmer knowing that smaller sales come in regularly. Some artists just feel drained by constant order management and small sales, and they prefer maybe fewer high ticket transactions, and they feel good about themselves, and this is what they want to do. Some artists love exclusivity, others love accessibility. So it no matter how good or complicated these solutions are, something might be right for you and something might not be right for you. Some artists are in the season of life when they just want to paint intensely and this is all they're doing. Yeah, other artists, a lot of my students are busy people, busy women, they're raising children, working part-time jobs, or they're managing their health, and they need something less pressure based. So maybe they don't have all this energy to manage the prints. Yeah, so they would rather paint for joy and occasionally make sales of their originals, which is also wonderful because why not, right? They get to do their self-expression, it's their own self-care, and they're getting paid for it. They, maybe not super stable money, but they get paid something, and that's already amazing. There's no superior model. There is only one that supports your nervous system and your current reality. If you need predictable cash flow to feel safe, relying only on originals might feel stressful for you. If you hate managing production and shipping, prints might just feel like a burden. Simply put, both models require work and they require a different kind of work and dedication. So if you're stuck, I would suggest take the next 3 months and just focus on one thing. Not forever, just these 3 months, just these 90 days. You focus only on originals. You raise your pricing properly, you market them intentionally. And I have plenty of materials to help you with that, by the way. Or if you can focus on building a structured print offer, improve your margins, refine your branding, that's also wonderful. Just pick one thing and track your sales numbers, track your stress levels, your energy, your enjoyment, how much time and effort all of this gets versus the outcome. Data plus self-awareness will tell you more than ideas in theory or other artist examples ever will. Yeah, you can always expand later. This is not all or nothing. This is not once and for all decision. It's really, really good to think about the future, to think long term. But a lot of people are getting stressed by that. So I just want to say that you don't need to build the final version of your art business right now, immediately. All of these is flexible and it can be changed as you want because, well, guess what? You're the boss. It's your business. You can do whatever the hell you want anytime you want, right? So before I wrap this up, I just want to say this. Selling prints, originals, or both isn't about what artists should or shouldn't do. You don't need to do something that you see others doing. It's about building a structure that allows you to keep creating and earning money without burning out. That's the real goal. And if this clarified something for you, I want you to share in the comments where you currently stand, what you're trying, what you've tried, original prints or a mix, how did it go for you? Let's just exchange experiences and maybe that'll help other artists. I will see you in the next video. And if you're in a constant decision-making fatigue in your creative business endeavors, I have a club where you'll get the support that you need. Yes Art Club is where you will find more educational videos, content plans, marketing expertise for artists, direct live time with me where I answer your questions, and there is a supportive community of artists from all over the world. Check out the link to Yes Art Club in the description of this video, and I will see you next Wednesday.